Ely State Prison, located in an unincorporated area of White Pine County, Nevada, would first open its doors in 1989 and is now home to some 1,100 medium custody inmates. Back on July 30th, 2024, 3 men would lose their lives and 9 others would be transported to an outside hospital during a vicious prison assault. Sources would say it was a gang-related beef between the Aryan Warriors and the Surenos. The following would lose their lives that very day. 41-year-old Anthony Muggsy Williams, considered the number 1 shot caller in charge of the Aryan Warriors, serving a life sentence. Zachariah Luce, a.k.a. Little Dog, also 43 years old and second in command of the Aryan Warriors, serving an 18-year sentence. The last person who would lose their life was 22-year-old Connor Brown, a prospect for the Aryan Warriors, serving a 24-year sentence. The 9 who were injured were members of both the Aryan Warriors and the Surenos.
Prisoners charged in the killing of 3 inmates at a Nevada prison are being linked by prosecutors to a Mexican Mafia affiliated street gang. Prosecutors say the crimes were committed inside Ely State Prison, quote, knowingly for the benefit of, at the direction of, or in the affiliation with the Surenos. According to the corresponding complaints, members of the Surenos were armed with prison-made weapons. The Attorney General's office says each of the defendants charged in connection with the attack faced 3 counts of first-degree murder with the use of a deadly weapon and 5 counts of attempted murder with the use of a deadly weapon.
8 News Now investigators confirming one of 3 inmates killed in a fight at the Ely State Prison was a white supremacist and leader of the so-called Aryan Warriors. 43-year-old Zachariah Luz was also involved in prior riots at another facility. The White Pine County Sheriff's Office saying 22-year-old Connor Brown was another inmate killed in the latest fight. Officials have not released the 3rd inmate's name. No officer was injured. 8 News Now investigators confirming one of 3 inmates killed.
Fox 5 News starts now.
Now at 3 o'clock, 2 of the 3 inmates killed in a prison fight have been identified. The fight broke out at the Ely State Prison yesterday morning. 43-year-old Zachariah Luz and 22-year-old Connor Brown were killed. Prison records show Luz was serving a sentence of 7 to 14 years for a variety of charges, including attempted burglary. Brown was also serving a 7 to 10-year sentence for robbery and use of a deadly weapon. The 3rd victim has not yet been identified as officers wait to notify next of kin. And following that deadly fight, one woman is making some difficult phone calls. The founder of Return Strong Nevada talked with Fox 5 today about her talks with the families of the inmates who died yesterday. She provides them with resources like information about how to retrieve their loved ones' bodies from the prison. She says it's tough for everyone involved in those conversations.
Losing people at all is not easy. Losing them under these circumstances is even more difficult. And I will say our team is struggling right now.
Governor Joe Lombardo's office says the incident was gang-related.
Officials telling us who they say was the 3rd inmate killed in a fight Tuesday at Ely State Prison. 41-year-old Anthony Williams was serving a life sentence for killing an inmate at another facility in 2016. We've also learned the 3 men who died in this latest fight were all stabbed. Sources tell our 8 News Now investigators it involved rival gangs.
Man's been arrested in connection to a deadly fight at the state prison in Ely last summer. Andrew Emmerich is accused of killing 3 during a brawl, including a white supremacist gang leader from Las Vegas. 9 others were hurt. Authorities say Emmerich moved to the Reno-Sparks area after his release from the Ely State Prison. The Nevada Attorney General's office requested help finding him. Reno police did arrest him Monday. Emmerich was booked on charges of murder with a deadly weapon with a gang enhancement.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. Really appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch the video. Really quick, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I really hope you enjoy it. If you do, go back, check out some of the videos, check out some of my other content, and hopefully you'll subscribe to this channel. If you're a returning member, viewer to my channel, thank you for taking the time to watch the video as well. I am nothing without you guys. If you've been following me at all, then you already know the big goal for this year was 20,000 subscribers. We are set to hit that sometime next month in June. That is halfway through the year, and that is all because of you guys, so thank you. And before we jump into it, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the comment button, engage in some conversation, and lastly, please do subscribe because, again, I am nothing without the people that continue to support this channel. Thank you. All right, so today's video, we're going to be touching back on a story I actually did last year. This takes place in July of 2024 at Ely State Prison in Nevada involving Aryan Warriors and Surenos. Now, at the time I did my first video on this, it's kind of funny because I go back and I watch some of my older content, and trust me, I am far from being polished or professional or anything like that, but I can just watch some of my old videos from 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago, and I can really tell just even how far I've come in that amount of time. If you followed my channel for that long, hopefully you've noticed the positive difference as well. I just listened to my intro on that video and other things, and I was happy to see how far we've come. But at the time, I just covered the Aryan Warriors. I covered the individuals who ended up being murdered in this story, in this attack, and I covered their backgrounds, but I didn't cover the attackers, and I didn't even cover or know that they were all Sureno gang members with Mexican Mafia ties. There was a white boy involved in the attack as well. I put up the video of him, that Emmerich individual. It's just a really crazy story with a lot more in-depth than I even realized. I was doing research for my next video, and boom, I came across this, and as I was reading, I said, man, I've done something on the Aryan Warriors. I went back and rewatched my old video, but I did not cover anything about the Surenos being involved in this. Did not realize the issues that these two had. Did not basically realize that staff had allowed these two gangs to intermingle, and what unfolded. So we're going to be reading from an article from August 16th, 2024. Then we're going to be reading from a more recent article in March of 2025. Okay, so first article, August 16th, 2024. On July 30th, at the Ely State Prison in 2024, 3 men lost their lives and 9 were transported to WBRH, I'm assuming that's a hospital, and what sources are saying was a gang-related beef between the Aryan Warriors and the Surenos. The following lost their lives that day. Anthony Muggsy Williams, 41 years old, deceased. A number 1 shot caller in charge of the Aryan Warriors was serving a life sentence. Zachariah Little Dog Luce, 43 years old, deceased. The second in command of the Aryan Warriors, serving 18 years. Connor Brown, 22, deceased, was a prospect for the Aryan Warriors with a 24-year sentence. And I'm sorry, Zachariah Luce had an 18-year sentence, and Anthony Muggsy Williams had a life sentence. Just want to make sure I get that clear. And then the 9 individuals that were injured were members of both gangs. And I did mention this in the intro. I just want to make that clear. The community of Ely is wondering why the Aryan Warriors and the Surenos were let out together and why they're housed in the same unit. First, a new bill passed the Nevada legislation in 2024 that made it mandatory for more offenders to be out on the tier together, quote, socializing. Consequently, on the very first day the bill passed, an inmate was stabbed to death on a tier. Note, there are 48 two-man cells per wing in a housing unit with 16 cells open for a 1-hour tier time. That's potentially 32 inmates on an open tier. Reminds me of some of that California prison model crap. Again, I'm not against socializing. I'm not against people being able to roam about a little bit. But you've got to be smart about it, and you've got to be able to see what's coming a mile away. And in this case, the first day the bill passed, someone was stabbed to death. In this incident, the Aryan Warriors were outnumbered 3-1. The incident that claimed the lives of 3 of their guys and 9 others were injured. Were outnumbered 3-1, with both gangs heavily armed with inmate-made weapons. Historically, the Aryan Warriors and the Surenos on the streets and within the Nevada Department of Corrections have always held their peace with an agreement or truce to get along as best they could in the world in which they live. That world is a max prison with 600 to 700 inmates with 1 hour of, quote, tier time per day, with numerous gang members abiding by a set of their own rules known as prison politics. The incident plays out like a movie, only this is real life. Allegedly, and according to reliable sources, this didn't begin behind the walls of the Ely State Prison, but in the Las Vegas Trap House hotspot, where a party was taking place on or around July 12th. At this house was a mix of individuals, with one being the former leader of the Aryan Warriors, Christopher Lippincott, also known as Rebel Wood, and another, Vic the Brick Martinez, who was an amateur MMA fighter, but whose family and friends were allegedly Sureno members and associates. A fight broke out between the two men, with reports from individuals who were there saying it was over a female coupled with ego and pride. Others say it was over a substantial debt owed by one gang to the other. What started as a fistfight between two men ended with Rebel Wood shooting Vic the Brick Martinez 2 times, and Martinez returning fire, killing Rebel Wood. Martinez was rushed to a Las Vegas hospital with substantial injuries. According to sources, the Aryan Warriors went to the hospital later that night to, quote, finish off Vic the Brick Martinez. Remember, he's an MMA fighter, but were unsuccessful in their attempt. Victor Martinez later succumbed to his injuries. It's absolutely crazy. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. But in this case, vengeance came with orders, and those orders were carried out at Ely State Prison by the Surenos for their beloved sunshine. Victor Martinez, the amateur MMA fighter, all of the above initiated the blood path at ESP. With the death of former AW leader Rebel Wood, their current leader, and their second in command, because you got to understand, those two of those guys, Anthony Muggsy Williams, he was #1 shot caller in charge of the AW, and Zachariah Luce was #2 in charge of the AW, and then a prospect was killed killed as well. So Rebel Wood, their Aryan Warrior leader who was out of the streets, their current leader, and their second in command who are behind bars. Word on the street has many wondering what retaliation is to come from the Aryan Warriors. Due to this incident, most prison institutions in Nevada are currently locked down. Only time will tell what will take place in a world of violence within the confines of razor wire, brick, and mortar. It's absolutely insane, man. So that article was just an awesome, awesome breakdown and a really good history. And that's why I love bringing this stuff to you guys, because I do the news clips for a reason, because I like to put a little bit realness to it. And I just think it's a good breakup. And I've always said I've loved to follow that video model. And a lot of you the majority of you seem to like it. But I've really focused this year on trying to bring more in-depth information. And that's why I want to do a follow-up on this video. Once I realized the Surenos were involved, once I was able to find this story and read it to really break down why these 3 individuals were killed, just gave a really good background. Okay, now we're going to have some names of the people who were charged in this crime. This is March 14th, 2025, just a couple months ago. Prosecutors allege that 20 prisoners charged in the 2024 killings of 3 inmates at the Nevada prison committed the acts to advance a Mexican Mafia-affiliated street gang, according to criminal complaints. The Surenos. Inside Ely State Prison, members of the Surenos were armed with prison-made weapons and were, quote, wore papers, books, magazines, extra clothing, or other material that acted as body armor in anticipation of an attack on rival gang members, according to corresponding complaints filed in January against each defendant. So what they'll do with the magazines, the papers, all that stuff, they're going to wrap it around their waist, their hips. They're going to wrap it in areas where their vital organs and vital areas are to protect them. Basically like they're going to war. You're going to go to battle, knowing that the people they're going to attack also are going to have weapons. But again, remember, they were outnumbering the Aryan Warriors 3-1. Prosecutors said that the crimes were committed knowingly for the benefit at the direction or in affiliation with the Surenos. The Surenos, Spanish for Southerners, are a group of Mexican-American street gangs with origins in Southern California, according to the National Criminal Justice Reference Service. On July 30th, the document stated the inmates linked to the Surenos brandished their weapons, rapidly approaching the rival gang member or members as a show of force during the attack, and, quote, made statements to encourage others while blocking, quote, a rival gang member or members from retreating to safety and or by re-engaging or attempting to re-engage with the rival gang member or members after they had retreated to the other side of the room. The defendants, man, so that's brutal. That's just like a funnel them in. You're outnumber them 3-1. You're going to block them from even retreating. That's like an execution. The defendants named in the complaint were identified as Gerardo Aparicio, Michael Banuelos, Matthew Berg, Edgar Candelaro, Oscar Cisneros, Andrew Emmerich, which I put his picture up. I put that video up of him as well. Maybe somebody can explain in the comments. He's a white boy. So, everything I'm reading, everything I'm seeing is Sureno. If anybody knows a little bit more about this, I'm more than happy to have somebody explain it to me. Was he a Sureno gang member? Was he just against the Aryan Warriors? I would love to know more on that. I was not able to get much more background on him. Christian Flores, Juan Franco, Ivan Garcia, Jesus Jaramillo, Christian Medrano, Juan Montalvo, Oscar Montalvo, Luis Padilla, Anthony Rivera, Reynaldo Suarez, Ricardo Saucedo, Reynaldo Suarez, Dominique Subia, and Edgar Ula Ceja. The documents also named inmates Anthony Williams, Zachariah Luce, and Connor Brown as those killed in the attack. Kyle Traub, Daniel Andrews, Andrew Gobezi, Lee Mitchell, and Eric Janish were also stabbed and injured according to the complaints. And there were a few more, because remember it said 9 in total from both gangs. Those names, I'm going to assume, are white boys, and they sound like they were the Aryan Warriors that were injured in that. But there you guys have it. I wanted to just do a little bit more of a follow-up on a video I had done a while back. I thought it was fascinating stuff. Love that I can bring you guys more information on stuff like this. And like I said in the last video, we're going a little bit away from just covering the CDCR stuff that's going on. We're going to be branching out. We're going to be covering more stuff. And as long as you guys are liking it and enjoying it like you liked the last video, I'm going to keep doing it. So, until next time, much love, much appreciation. Peace.